Cam Ward.
A C+, and I like him, but when you're 2 for 7, Greedy, I don't think that's tough. Now, in fairness, there was a near miss to Van Jefferson down the field. We see the arm strength, we see the athleticism, but obviously the completion percentage is going to have to be dramatically better, which I expect it will be as the season goes along.
As he always does, Dan has tape. What do we see from Cam Ward, Dan?
He's a big game hunter. He's a home run hitter. I mean, he wants to throw the football down the field, and I actually love that from the rookie quarterback. Even some of the incompletions, you're watching a guy see it quick, play quick, throw guys open before defenders are anticipating. Like if you go and this is backed up 3rd and 13, just watch. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up top is what a combo coverage between corner and safety. Bottom of the screen is the secondary. The middle of the field where you want to throw the football to. He's letting that ball go before the receivers come to the top of his cut, and he bleeds him in a yard, and the receiver just hooks it up. But that ball comes out early, and for me, a young quarterback throwing the football downfield in the preseason, challenging himself. Anyone could check the ball down. I want to see a guy figure out how much can I get away with in this league. Cam Ward's done that.
Shefty, what are we hearing out of Tennessee on the #1 overall pick?
Well, he's the guy. They're behind him. They're happy with him. It hasn't shown up. And we were talking about this. If somebody struggles in a preseason game, then we're going to be wondering and questioning how far he's coming along. I would imagine with Cam Ward, there'll be a progression as this season goes on. You heard Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams talking about how this past week was his best week, that a light went off. And at some point, I think the belief around the Titans organization is that the light is going to go off for Cam Ward. Maybe it hasn't happened yet, but I think they believe with his hard work, it will.
I know they have really worked hard with him on NFL timing, and they think he's made rocket type of improvement since the start of camp with the understanding of that.
And the hallmark about him, again, go back to college, only Cade Klubnik had a better TD to interception ratio, despite not being accurate. No sacks, no interceptions. We've talked so much about Caleb Williams and those 6-8 sacks. So from that standpoint, they're going to put a big emphasis on play action, good offensive line, and that's why I think he's a really good
Stay out of negative plays, make things happen. So far, it was a tough night the other night, but I think generally most of the things we've heard coming out of there have been very positive. Now, let's get to the guy who is throwing darts again on Saturday night. What grade do you give?
Got rid of the ball very quickly, on time, accurately, and very confidently. This guy has moxie. Look at this throw here. In another time, we never look back, birthday boy. We just go with him.
He looks like a top 10 pick. And the Giants are doing a lot with him, what the Commanders did last year with Jayden Daniels. Just taking the stuff that you ran in college that you're comfortable with and you see really well, and we're just going to kind of deploy it to our offense. They're playing spread out. They're giving him 5 receivers. They're allowing him to see the width of the field. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's been so impressive. I mean, 5 wide receivers. The Jets are playing shell coverage. You want to work the middle of the field on a seam route versus a backer. The 1-2-3 hitch, ball comes out before that backside safety can get there. This is for everybody that when he was coming out was like, man, he doesn't see the field, or he knows Lane Kiffin's calling the play for him or whatnot. This is no huddle, it's tempo. You fake the toss, you get the underneath defenders to flow. And then to Mike T's point, which is an accurate one, that ball, while that guy's open, it has to come out now because those secondary defenders are going to retrace. And so I like the fact that they're doing that. I also like the fact that he's taking advantage of it. They played no huddle with some tempo. You know who else did that last year? Washington did no huddle with tempo. So I'm not on board with starting him, but I'm warming up to it.
Let's also keep in mind, I know we're talking all about Jackson Dart, who's looked awesome this summer. But Russell Wilson's looked pretty good too.
Yes.
And I think they want to go with the veteran, and they've made it pretty clear that their plan is to start Russell Wilson at quarterback for the opening game. Now, what Jackson Dart has deep ball, whereas, Dart has thrown some great balls himself, but again, Russell had a great throw here. What Dart, whenever, we know the fans in New York will be very calm, cool, and composed about calling for Jackson Dart. Like that future begins.
So the draft, the night of the draft, and candidly, the entire weekend of the draft became all about Shedeur Sanders. During the lead up to it, again, as the host of the draft, I'm just scouring evaluations. That's all I do for months leading up to it. I thought that the most mixed opinion that I found anywhere was on Jackson Dart. There were people that I was reading that were saying Jackson Dart is a top 10 pick for sure, and then there were people who were saying wouldn't touch him in the first 2 rounds. So there was a lot that got kind of overlooked when Shedeur Sanders fell all the way to the 5th round. But again, there were people who were not surprised to see this, and there are people who thought he wasn't anywhere near this.
But there are people who say that on a lot of different quarterback prospects. They said the same thing about Bo Nix. And the key here for the New York Giants is, number one, the Giants loved him. Now, let me be very clear. They also love Cam Ward and couldn't trade up to number 1 to go get Cam Ward. And so when they couldn't get Cam Ward, they resorted to plan B, which was Jackson Dart. But in trading for Jackson Dart, the Giants held on to their first-round draft pick in 2026. So they moved up without giving up a future one, which when you're doing that for a quarterback, that's rare.
Greeny, Dan alluded to it. There was this notion of like he's a system quarterback, meaning when you're playing for Lane Kiffin, you're getting a pre-snap read, he's telling you what to do. But he obviously in the offseason really won over the Giants and a few other teams, given his knowledge of the game. And athletically, we don't talk about it enough, but he rushed for 1,900 yards. He's a much better athlete than people think.
He's looked unbelievably good. Whether he starts immediately or it takes a little time, so far, so good. One more quarterback to talk about. Last week was all about rookie Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. This week it's about rookie Dillon Gabriel in Cleveland. Tannenbaum, what grade did he get?
Greeny, B. And in fairness, his good throws really merit an A. The only reason it's a B, he had a pick 6, he had another fumble. Those turnovers count. But I was extremely impressed by his accuracy and getting rid of the ball. Really good anticipation. Again, I'm just concerned about his size. Typically, that doesn't translate well to the next level.
I thought he was sensational. I thought the tape was just as good, if not better, than Shedeur last week. He looked a lot like Tua. And the things that you want to see from the young player, are you seeing it correctly? Are you playing fast? Are you efficient with your decision-making and your movement? All of that was there. And so we can sit here and harp on an interception that's not his or a fumble, but when you watch this is really well done when it comes to how's the drop marrying the concept. He's going to try to get the out route up top, 1, 2, 3. Guys playing outside leverage defensively don't like it. Get backside, but also move in the pocket. This is a tight space right here. That is really efficient when it comes to the movement and finding the number 2 or 3 read. That looked like Tua. This is an in route from the bottom of the screen. Watch him with his eyes and marrying his concept of his feet. Pull those defenders down. He's going to let this ball go from behind that defender. That guy's covered. That's anticipation. That's seeing that window open at the NFL level. This is my favorite throw of the weekend for him. He wants thrash on this deep middle sit. He's got to see coverage rotation. He's got to manipulate the underneath defender, and he has to move the pocket while also throwing a ball away from a very tight covering defender. Watch where he does his backer. He's going to peek to the bottom. You see where he is starting-wise, see where that backer ends up. That opens up the window, and there's that completion. That's big-time stuff. I don't care if you're 6 foot or 6'6". I know a lot of 6'6" guys who couldn't do that well enough. So his tape was awesome, and I think this is a very interesting situation in Cleveland.
And then the coach, Kevin Stefanski, says I want to have this decision made sooner rather than later. So what and when should we be expecting to know about the quarterback situation in Cleveland?
Well, he's not scheduled to speak to the media at all today, which doesn't mean that the team couldn't announce its decision. But I would think in the next couple of days that the Browns will come out and announce their starting quarterback. And I think everybody has expected all along that it would be the veteran Joe Flacco who draws the start. They want to announce the starting quarterback this week because they want this week to mimic what it would be like during the first week of the regular season. And so they want to get that starting quarterback decision made and in place. And while we're on it, in addition to the starting quarterback, I believe they're going to wind up keeping 4 quarterbacks on their roster. They always were going to keep Joe Flacco. They always were going to keep both rookies, who, by the way, I think could draw some interest around the league. And then Kenny Pickett would be the 4th guy. And there are just enough teams that still need quarterback help. And so quarterbacks are currency.